contract of employment defines by Section 2 of Employment Act as any agreement, whether oral or in writing and whether express or implied, whereby one person agrees to employ another as an employee and that other agrees to serve his employer as an employee and includes an apprentice contract. Issues of ethics and professionalism are essential to maintain a good relationship between employers and employees. Both employers and employees must carry out their responsibilities with integrity to avoid any conflicts from arising.
The duty to pay employees. Employers must pay wages as consideration for the employee's promise to perform work. The wages entitled to the employee may be governed by an agreement or by an industrial award. The issue of ethics and professionalism under this duty requires employers to be responsible and honest towards their employees. Employers should pay wages on time, as agreed, to motivate employees to perform their work effectively. Additionally, employers must ensure that employees are paid fairly to avoid any dissatisfaction. Furthermore, employers must comply with employment laws, including minimum wage requirements, overtime pay, and employee benefits, to make employees feel valued and respected.
Duty not to undermine the trust and confidence of the employees. This duty aims to prevent employers from engaging in unreasonable or abusive conduct towards employees, and a breach of this duty may give rise to a claim for constructive dismissal. From the perspective of ethics and professionalism, employers must act fairly, honestly, and transparently by providing true information, giving proper guidance, and sharing important facts so that employees feel trusted by the organization. Employers must also treat employees with dignity and respect and make reasonable decisions, including discussing matters with employees where appropriate, in order to maintain loyalty and foster a strong employer-employee relationship.
Duty to provide safe working conditions. Liability for breach of this duty is imposed through the law of tort, both at common law and by statute. In practice, actions for personal injury to employees are generally brought as actions in tort rather than for breach of contract. The issue of ethics and professionalism under this duty is that employers must be considerate of employees' needs and trustworthy in fulfilling their responsibilities. Employers have a moral obligation to protect employees from harm by reporting incidents honestly rather than concealing them to safeguard employees' well-being. Additionally, employers must provide proper training and safety equipment to ensure employees are aware of their surroundings. Furthermore, employers must ensure that the workplace complies with occupational safety laws, and employees have the right to claim compensation if any incidents occur while at work.
Duty to obey to the employer reasonable direction. It is the duty of an employee to obey the lawful and reasonable directions of the employer that are incidental to the contract of service. However, employees are not bound to obey orders that fall outside the scope of their contractual obligations or are inappropriate to their level of skills and social status. The issue of ethics and professionalism under this duty involves showing respect for the employer's authority and management structure. Employees must comply with directions that are legal and safe to ensure effective performance of their work. However, employees also have the right to refuse directions that are unlawful, unsafe, discriminatory, or unethical. Furthermore, obedience to reasonable directions promotes mutual trust, cooperation, and professionalism in the workplace, which contributes to a positive and harmonious working relationship between employers and employees.
Duty to take care when performing work. This refers to the employee's implied warranty that he or she possesses the required skills for the job and will exercise reasonable care in carrying out the work. If the employee fails to fulfill this duty and a third party suffers loss or injury, the employer is usually held liable, although the employer may sue the employee for lack of care. The issues of ethics and professionalism under this duty include accountability and integrity, as employees are expected to perform their work carefully and responsibly, use their skills and abilities to the best of their capacity, comply with workplace safety procedures, and take responsibility for their actions and mistakes without acting negligently or recklessly. This
Duty to give faithful and honest service. Employees must act with complete honesty towards their employer when performing their contractual duties. This includes being trustworthy and reliable, not competing with the employer's business, refraining from paid work for others that breaches their duty, and protecting confidential information such as profits, customer data, work systems, products, or services. Employees must also inform the employer if they form a company, alone, or in partnership to provide services to the employer, disclosing any ownership or interest. Duty